So it is autumn 2021, which means it is my 5-year anniversary on this YouTube channel. Been doing this for 5 years. It's crazy to think about. So a huge thank you to all of you who have been sticking with me all those years. And in this video, I think it's appropriate to talk about the 5 biggest lessons I have learned doing landscape photography in these 5 years. So the first of these 5 lessons, which I really have had to come to terms with, is that originality is overvalued in landscape photography. Now, I know this is a very controversial statement because generally we do value originality. It's super, not frustrating, but boring looking at like thousands of photos of the same waterfall in Iceland. However, like I'm out here, I'm in a forest setting during autumn. Like you gotta ask yourself, how original is that? Yet it's where we all go out and take photos because autumn, woohoo, best season for landscape photographers. At least for some. I think it's also a little bit overvalued, but nevertheless, originality in and of itself is not really something that, you know, can stand on its own terms. Everybody can actually go out and make an original landscape photo. That doesn't mean that it's a great photo in and of itself. There's this meme on the internet where you have like a line of forks and one of them is just completely crude and bended unusable, and it says that just because you're unique doesn't mean that you're useful. And it's kind of the same thing with originality, that just because something is original doesn't mean it's pretty, doesn't mean it's a beautiful composition, doesn't mean it's telling a story or anything like that. So yeah, sadly originality in and of itself is overvalued. It has to come with something more than just being a unique photo from a unique location in a unique environment. And you gotta ask yourself, is it even possible to make original photos anymore? And yeah, I'm right here in the middle of the forest taking a photo at a forest lake of a reflection with some silver birches and some autumn colors, and in no way, shape or form is this original, besides that I have never ever seen this photo being taken before. So you can see I'm photographing in this direction here, photographing these birch trees and these autumn colors. The composition looks something like this. You can't really see it, something like this, and it's actually a very, very nice photo. Very nice photo. It's kind of moody, but then it has those orange colors in there. So yeah, original photo? Yes, no, I don't know. But it's pretty. As you can also see, I am back in Denmark from the Faroe Islands, and it was just a great trip with some fantastic light. I only got to make 2 videos from up there myself, but I think they turned out pretty good. You guys seem to like them for the most part. And don't worry, I'm still here, safe and sound. Didn't fall off a cliff or anything. So the next big lesson I have learned that I can learn you is that if you want to be a landscape photographer, passion drives the wheels. I'm not sure that's a saying in English, but it is in Danish. So you just have to love what you do, because it's not necessarily what you would consider a hard job unless you keep walking up and down mountains, but there's just a lot of work that's coming with running your own business. So much paperwork, so many emails. You have to constantly be present on social media, given you're running your business through social media like I do. So you really have to have that passion for doing landscape photography. In my case, also doing the videos that I do right here, trying to be efficient about it. So yeah, passion drives the wheels. If you can't see yourself keep going and grinding landscape photography in 5 years, then maybe this is not a full-time thing for you. Just keep it as a hobby. In many ways, I'm actually a little bit jealous of those people who have this as a hobby. Like, I have it as a work, so I do get out and do get to create and be creative, but sometimes I don't really feel like going out. Then I go out and then it's actually really good, but yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, passion drives the wheels. So this morning here is actually also the very first morning where I get to go out and photograph close to where, like my new home, where I live now. And oh my god, moving into a house, a new but old house, all the painting, getting rid of all the old smells and all that stuff. It's so much work, I don't like it. So it's very nice to actually finally be out and both scout new locations, but yeah, also just like, you know, out with the camera, enjoying this absolutely gorgeous autumn morning. So very beautiful, so atmospheric. If you so far enjoy this video and all my blabbering, I would highly appreciate both a like and, of course, if you want to see even more, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Let me know after you've seen this entire video some of the big lessons you have learned in landscape photography. So yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that juice. So the next very important lesson that I've learned, I can teach you, is that landscape photography, when you want to learn it, it's not like a straight line from being a beginner to becoming a master at landscape photography. Not that I think that anyone who are great at landscape photography think that they have mastered it, but nevertheless, it's not a straight line. It is ups and downs, and you start pursuing all sorts of ideas that doesn't pan out and you lose your passion for it. And then you try something new, you may go down black and white road and you're like, nah, this is not for me. Then you turn back and yeah, you get a lot of different experiences in all sorts of different directions. You may even go into like portrait photography and figure out that's not for you. But the point is that it takes time. It takes a lot of trying different things. And again, as I said, the first one, it takes passion. And yeah, so it's not a straight line. I'm a little bit distracted because I'm really out also like exploring and looking around, and this scene here actually with the branches here looks kind of nice. Just need like a focal point out there on the other side. But yeah, it's not a straight line, so you need to try out a whole lot of different things, and maybe something you learn in portrait photography you can take with you on into landscape photography or vice versa. So the most basic things is learn your camera, learn how to focus with your camera, the basic setting stuff, learn about composition in landscape photography, and learn how to focus your camera and go out and take photos of something that you get inspired by, something that you're passionate about. Learn to tell stories and all that good stuff. So one of those positive things about just going to a place you've never been before in what ought to be fairly optimal conditions. So there's a little bit too much wind, but it's quite atmospheric this morning. No clouds in the sky, and then the sun is coming up, so you can catch a lot of like nice light and just find new compositions. And I think I have found something here. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm trying to cut out this part here, and it looks something like this here on the back of my screen. Just turn this one down so you can see it, something like this. I'm not entirely sure. There's some branches sticking in from right and left. I may pull a Thomas Heaton and actually just go completely square format in this scene here, but I think it could work. It looks nice from here. I may go a little closer. So I went a little closer. It will probably not be a completely square format, but a vertical as per always. So recording videos for YouTube, thinking about what I'm supposed to say while taking photos in a new location, while exploring. It's a lot of balls in the air I have right now. Like, yeah, well, here's the photo. So the next big lesson that I have learned, it's a hard lesson, is that you just cannot satisfy everyone with your art and your work. All humans are different, and obviously there's just some people who have another taste. And that is completely fair. That's actually a good thing, else we would just run around and take the same photos, everyone. And then there's of course just the people who want to watch the world burn. Like, there are always haters out there who are either just jealous, that's usually the thing, or they are just sad people. Like, people disliking other people's videos without having even seen them and all that stuff. Oh my god, there's like double sun here. So yeah, very important lesson that you have to learn when you put yourself out there and you put your work out there. You can't expect everybody to love that work. It's just how the world works. So I have come by this beautiful, beautiful small, and did I say beautiful, composition right here out in the middle of the forest, where I have a look, and you can see here I'm shooting with my long lens all the way out at 400mm. Have a look over the lake, and then I have like small different parts leading up into the background to a little tiny house where there's like sunbeams coming in from right side. You can just look at here. So it's actually this composition out here, and you can see on the back of my screen it looks something like this. And you can see the little house, and then I have a few sunbeams coming in from the side, some reeds here in the foreground. And then I have this kind of S-curve leading you up through the photo. So that is a really, really, really great composition. From what I can see right now, I'm going to love this photo. So speaking of composition, be sure to get my 2 ebooks. There are links to them down in the description. They are all about composition and landscape photography, how to structure your photo, how to use a subject or an anchor point in your photo, how to frame your photo, how to use leading lines, leading elements, how basically to use the compositional tools to your advantage to tell the story you want to tell. I'm digging into flow, vertical compositions versus horizontal compositions. I'm going into how to use geometry to your benefit. I'm going into how to use different focal lengths to your advantage, just that I'm doing right here at 400mm. And each ebook ends with a chapter where I'm just bringing it all together and analyzing and showing it through my own photo. So minimal text with lots of photos, so you get to the point fast. So check them out in the description. So the final and I would probably say most important lesson, which is just utterly important, is to develop a sense of pragmatism. Do what works and apply it to basically all aspects of both landscape photography, but also your business, your life. It's simply just a question about doing what works. That's it. Like, ignore what the critics are saying for the most part. Ignore people thinking that you should do things in a specific or certain way. If you empirically can show for yourself that it can actually be done in another and easier way. And I apply that to my landscape photography all the time in regard to the settings I use. When people say you shoot at f8 and have to focus stack to get it utterly sharp all the way through, I'm like, yeah, but I do not want to focus stack all the way through. It is a cumbersome task and it's super annoying, so I shoot at f16. It's a visual medium, and if people cannot see the difference between f8 focus stacked and f16 on the final print, then it does not matter which one aperture you use. It also comes to like the kind of videos that I do. If there's something that doesn't work, then stop doing that and do something that works. I also have to, of course, respect the audience that I have and try to find that middle ground between what I want to create myself and what you guys want to watch. So do what works. And that's where I'm saying, like, ignore the critics in the sense that there are some photographers who are like, no, you shouldn't show all the tips and educational stuff for free on YouTube. Oh, you shouldn't show where locations are. You shouldn't sell landscape photography location maps. Well, it works for me, and I'm always trying to like do it well within the ethics. Like, I'm not showing locations publicly that I think will be completely destroyed if a lot of people go there. So in that regard, yeah, it works for me. So do what works in regard to your business, to your landscape photography, to settings. Ignore the most obnoxious voices. Of course, always have a listen to the audience. But yeah, so that's it. That was 5 really big lessons that I have learned. Share your thoughts down below. Is there something you have learned in your years as a landscape photographer? And I'm running out of battery now. So I of course also just want to remind you that I of course have my 2 ebooks on composition in landscape photography, and hopefully I've placed myself in the right position so that I can show you that I actually know about composition in landscape photography. But I have my 2 ebooks down in the description. They tell you basically everything you need to know about composition. And I of course also have my huge Photoshop for landscape photographers post-processing course from beginner to advanced. I've designed it in a very progressive way. So we start out in the easy way and they go all the way up to the more advanced stuff, such as luminosity masking, working with luminosity masking, and really giving you all the tools. I have a big section where I show all the different tools that I use, and then from there, when you have learned all these things, you can hopefully develop your own style and take your landscape photography in the direction that you want to go. So there's also a coupon code to that down in the description. So yeah, that is it. As always, I would highly appreciate both a like and a comment. Thank you for watching.